Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Well, we got a lot of stuff to do today, so let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? Sorry about that, I didn't mean to spook you there, but, you know, it's Halloween, right? That's coming up, I think, if my scheduling's correct. You know, holidays were so, like, what's the word? Mystical when I was a kid, and now as I've grown into an adult, they just slip by and I just don't really care. But you know, I play a role in this thing that I'm doing here. And I feel like if I get into the Halloween spirit, maybe you will too. So you know, that's what we're doing. We got some spooky logs coming up. So as I mentioned, this is Halloween, this is a spooky log, but do you know what the real scary thing is? Right now, it's my IM scales, and I've just been working on those super hard. I think I got a question last time, like, do you practice, like, between filming? I've been filming a lot less, and I've been practicing a lot more. Right now, I'm in this, like, Dragon Ball Z, like, hero training montage, and I've been doing like 2 hours a day of scales, mainly rest stroke. But yeah, that's been going well. So it's been like a few days since I last filmed, and I am noticing improvements in my playing, like definitely. So that's really cool. I like that. Yeah, I think it just comes from being more careful with the scales, especially playing with the metronome and like really making sure that there are no like missed notes, no mistakes or anything like that. And if there are, immediately half the speed and just stay there and just try to train for that. Which is funny, I've met a lot of resistance from anybody I tell this idea to. Because my main thing right now is just scales and arpeggios, and then I have like an easy piece like Lagrima. It's serving as an etude in perfection for me right now. So all I care about is being able to play it, and every time I play it, it should sound like a recording of Lagrima. There should be no like buzzies, like stuff that would be like edited out or spliced out later in a recording. None of that, because I should be able to do that for an easy piece like Lagrima, right? But yeah, I'm just trying to refine my technique down and make it just as consistent as I possibly can. So that's what we're doing. And if you want to know my scale routine right now, BPMs 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, that's what I'm dealing with. I'm working mainly with rest stroke because I've like neglected my rest stroke super hard. And I'm doing ascending, descending in all positions. I'm doing skipping, like skipping thirds, and then I'm doing sequences of 3 and sequences of 4. So I'm hitting like all my bases with those scales, and it's all about IM. I've been coming into some interesting stuff too, like my seating on the guitar. Like I have no idea what's going on. Like it seems like nothing is feeling stable these days. Like even the guitar lift, surprisingly, which like it is like very stable, but for some reason, just when I play it, just there's always something. So I've actually gone back to using the pillow and the footstool, and I've even gone as far as just using the footstool and playing the guitar on my right leg. But that's another scary thing about this, like my seating is just going to be a horror show. You'll see when I start playing. But yeah, that's pretty much what's new with me. My guitar is coming soon. Boom. What's up? Alright, I have some comment questions I'd like to get to, so let's go ahead and answer those. This is not a guitar question, but it is a YouTube question, which is cool. This is from Mellow5655, friend of the channel, of course, which actually, no you're not friend of the channel, because that's not free anymore. If you want to be friend of the channel, you gotta pay. It's $2.99 a month. Don't quote me on that though, it might go up, who knows. But what I'm trying to say is, I have memberships now. The only perks that you get for the membership is that if you ask a question, it gets priority response in a practice log. You will have a direct line to me to answering your questions. Now that doesn't guarantee I'll answer it, especially if there's a lot of questions and I like don't have like enough airtime to actually answer it. But that is the best way to get a hold of me. If you want me to actually talk about your question in the chair, be a member. It's $1.99 a month. That's the perk that you get. And if you have guitar questions, it's sort of like you get to mail me, where like you'll write a comment and then I'll see it and then I'll read it and like reply and then send it back to you. And it'll take like a week or so probably, but you sort of get like a line to me. Consider that, and it just helps me out too. But yeah, there we go. Another revenue stream. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to recoup some of the money I wasted on this project. Let's see what's next. Okay, so here's an example of a question that you could ask me as a member now, which you can still ask them. If there aren't any member questions, then I'll answer yours, but the members get the first questions. This is from Nijwinzin29, not friend of the channel. You're not a member. Sorry, is that sad that that's just not a thing anymore? Yeah, well, you know, I gotta get paid, so I'm sorry. I can't keep having friends of the channel for free. I can't afford it. I'm gonna go bankrupt. You said, hi, recent subscriber here. Well, thank you for subscribing. This is a good introduction to my channel. It's all about the money. Can I ask you a scale question? Of course you can. I love scale questions. I've been practicing scales. That's good. I have also been practicing scales. That's freaking dope, dude. Post in the comments if you're practicing scales. For some reason, my MA finger combo seems to do better than the IM combo when I do triando scales. That's free stroke, right? And apoyando, the IM works fine. Bro, your MA is what's stronger? It's stronger than your IM? What? I thought it's a bit weird. Yeah, it's super weird. Oh my god. I want to hear that. Can you do MA scales as good as IM and free stroke? If you're asking me personally, heck no, dude. I never even practiced those. My MA scales would be a disaster. Free stroke or rest stroke. Which your comment goes on. Let me read the rest of it really quick. Alright, so yeah, I replied. I'm going to answer it in the chair. He said, so that's when you sit in the chair and answer questions? Precisely, that is what this is. Let me give you some more clarity on the question. It seems that the gap between M and I is wider, especially when I do a speed burst exercise like IMI or MIM triplet. I've heard from a reputable person that it's because most people M finger is longer than their I finger, so M is slower in getting back to position after a pluck. I'd love to know your opinion and advice. Okay, so you're saying the gap between M and I, are you talking about this gap right here, or like the difference in height? So of course your M is going to be longer than all the other fingers. Oh, here's another fun fact about hands. If you take your hand and you follow it like this, I got you. People have been doing that to me in the street so much recently. I don't know why. Just like dudes walking by will just hit me with that. They get me every time too. You don't expect that from a stranger. Like everyone's hands are different, and there's always going to be some like weird thing that your hands can do that like somebody else's can't, and vice versa. But I don't know, man. An MA free stroke being your go-to thing, like this is Halloween. Like that is a freak show. This is a spooky Q&A right now, dude. You should just go as yourself for Halloween with the way you play your scales. Just like, look at this. I can't even like wiggle my fingers that fast. Ooh. What's your technique for that? Because when I'm playing I and M, my fingers are following M, like my fingers that aren't I. So, you know, free stroke will look like that. Ba 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 ba. And then if I'm playing an arpeggio, like PIMA, my pinky will follow A. I mean, you just don't want to have fingers like sticking out and stuff. But when you're playing M and A, what are you doing with your index finger? Is it just sort of hanging out there? That's like stuff that I would think would maybe hold you back. Like I feel like tension would come up from your index finger. It would sort of act as like another pinky, kind of. Because I feel like we have that issue with pinky if you don't follow your pinky with A. I with M or something. And that's not intuitive to me to do because I've like never done it. Oof. And then what's happening if we don't do that? Like if your eye is just staying there, you're gonna have this like constant, I don't know, I feel like there's gonna be like resistance between the stationary eye and the moving M, and like some sort of tension's gonna build up from that. I don't know, man. If it's your eye that you don't like, I've never even heard that. Like I sort of get it. Like M is definitely my favorite finger when it comes to like PI versus PM. Yeah. Oh, my PI sucks. But PM's a little bit better, though. They both aren't that great. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like that would lead to some sort of, like, weirdness with your hand, like an injury or just excess tension. So I wouldn't recommend it. But if that's how your hand works, I mean, fair enough. What we can take from that, our hands are different, and there's going to be things that are easier for you. But just because something's harder, that doesn't mean that you can't practice it and work it into your technique. And I think you'll be better off for like having a solid IM free and rest stroke. I wouldn't like give up on it or anything. If you are faster with MA, and that's just how your hand works and that's just how it is, then maybe just use that for like fast scale passages whenever you have them. I can't imagine MA, for many reasons, being better than IM when you're just generally playing stuff. I mean, what I really love about IM is that you can alternate and play melodies, and then if there's a bass note, of course, your thumb is ready to play bass note. And then if there's an extra note that would require some like weird crossing, like going M and then I to the next string, you can always use A. So you almost just have your bases covered. Like, the IM system is a really great system, and I love it. That's like the main thing that I practice, like, for scales. So yeah, I feel like MA will be a little limited in that. Like if you're playing an arpeggio, like going through the strings, like da-da-da-da, it's nice to have A there, so you can kind of go through like 3 strings instead of having to like move after just 2. Hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. Yeah, like if you use it as just like a secret weapon to play scales quickly, I don't see any harm with that. But generally, I mean, I would definitely stick to IM, and like any student I have, I would not want them using MA as their primary playing style. Like it would be a long discussion, if anything. I wouldn't just like let that slide. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, sort of related to that, I've known some people that prefer IA scales. So their IA is faster than IM, which that kind of makes sense because if you look at your I and your A finger, they're pretty like equally lengthed, unless you're like freakazoid or something. Mine are pretty equally length. Like, again, the thing that I don't like about it is I feel like M is just kind of floating out there, sort of like a new pinky, and you have these like stationary fingers like moving around. I don't know, I just don't like it. Like, I don't personally do that. Played IA scales before, and I can see why people do like it. Yeah, like try that at home if you haven't. Like, I could see it getting that fast. I don't know what to tell you, man. I would definitely still practice IM. I'm not giving you the okay to not practice IM just because M and A is easier. Like I said, maybe MA will be a secret weapon for you, and you just have, like, crazy MA scales. I bet that's helpful for a lot of things, like doing AMA alternations, like in arpeggios. So I imagine you're pretty strong with that. You know, it's not a bad thing. You just have a deficit that you need to start making up for, and I would definitely do that. I wouldn't just ignore it. And, by the way, like, we all have deficits. I know, like even me. That's why I'm working so much on scales right now. 2 hours a day. Post in the comments if you practice scales for 2 hours today. Rachmaninoff, my favorite guitarist, said that 2 hours of scales and arpeggios per day should be sufficient to play any of the repertoire that a young guitarist might need to play, or something like that. I'm sort of paraphrasing it. But Rachmaninoff said 2 hours a day. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with 2 hours a day. And you know, I used to feel that way too, but this whole year I just haven't practiced scales at all. And I just feel like such a loser now because I'm just seeing these deficits in my playing that are just going to be fixed, I think, by scale practice. That's sort of unrelated to your question now. Any other questions? I feel like I didn't answer that one that well. Because, I mean, I don't really have much of an answer other than just like I wouldn't do that, and I understand things being easier sometimes, but you still need an IM. You need an IM free stroke. You gotta have it. Unless there's some, like, real issue that you maybe didn't fill us in on, or, like, your hand is just, like, it's like a 1 in 10,000 hand that just, like, I is just not gonna happen for certain movements. It's probably not, though. You're probably fine. Keep us updated. Start practicing IM scales for 2 hours every day. Do that for the rest of your life and see how your scales are. They'll probably be pretty good. You don't even have to do it for the rest of your life. Just do it for the next, like, 10 years. And then we'll see where your scales are. But then, like, don't stop doing it, obviously. I'm, like, all in on, like, scale work now. As if, like, alright, well, that's my lifetime commitment. I'm married to it. I have been doing it for, like, 2 weeks now. Like, at the most. Maybe 10 days. So, let's actually wrap this part up. I'm done talking. Let's go to the piano bench. I'll see you there. Alright, back to the old greasy grind. The real horror show is going to be my seating. Alright, well, I'll see you on the other side. Okay, I'm not done today. I'm not even close to done. But I am going to go ahead and play for you. I'm going to play Morel Sonatina Movement 1. Because that's one that I've been really struggling with clarity and, like, playing it in a way that doesn't suck. So I'm going to try to do that now. Here it is. Hey, well, that came out how it came out, I guess. I'm really focusing on just, like, clarity and, like, perfection or whatever. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just trying to flub as least notes as possible. Yeah, I think I played it a bit slower than usual, which is fine. I feel like I'm always just trying to shred that piece. Same thing with that one. Yeah, so, I mean, I'll look at the footage later. Just got a lot of work to do with that. I don't even know if I want to comment on it. I've been so, like, screwed up with my seating, just, like, how to even, like, hold the guitar. I thought I was past that, but I guess not. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I'll see you in the outro. Hey, well, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. The whole creepy illusion's probably gone at this point. Yeah, want some guitar lessons? You want some creepy guitar lessons? Feel free to email me. You want some creepy shirts? This one's kind of Halloween-ish. Sort of convenient that it came out at the time it did, so you can pick that up if you want. All the shirts, all that stuff, head on down to Rootin's Delight, pick yourself up an honest shirt. Oh, and members, feel free to become a member if you want priority in the chair questions. I will answer your questions first if you give me money every month. This is sort of like a Patreon, so if you support this thing that I'm doing here, if you like watching it or whatever, I don't know. Feel free to sign up for that, and that helps me out. Gotta fund this operation somehow. Alright, well, I think we can wrap it up here. So, I'll see you in the next one.